Hello, and welcome to BrookesTV. I'm Amanda Miller.
And I'm Adele Lachi. Coming up in this week's episode,
We find out what's changing with food at Brookes.
we looked at the new exhibit at the Museum of Natural History.
And I've been given exclusive access inside the infamous Wheatley Tower.
But first, the traditional British pub has seen a dramatic decline over the last decade, with many factors contributing to the rising numbers of closures across the country.
And now the Hollybush Inn down the Butley Road has become the latest pub to face the threat of shutting down. Joe Phippen went along to visit and has investigated the wider picture in after tour.
The recently taken over Hollybush Inn has been branded by the new owners with a use it or lose it tag. The bed and breakfast facilities are now under refurbishment with a view to continuing solely down that route if it proves a success. Theo Properties Director David O'Neill stated that, "We have spent a bit of money on it, so we're going to run it as a pub for now and see how it goes. We are normally a property development company and this is our first pub. The option for residential development has also not been ruled out." On the other side of Oxford, this pub in Tiddington closed its doors recently after the brewery decided to shut the part Indian restaurant, part pub. However, the property is now undergoing drastic refurbishment and is due to return as a traditional British pub before the year is out. The same cannot be said for the Black Boy in Chinner, which is rumoured to be turning into an antique shop. The facts are startling. In the UK between 2008 and 2013, beer duty increased by 42%, beer consumption decreased by 21%, 7,000 pubs closed and 58,000 jobs were lost. Around 50 pubs closed in Oxfordshire over roughly the same time period. That's one every 36 days approximately. Stark reminders of the pubs that used to be are littered all over the county. We went to this successful local pub to find out what pressures they face and how they've battled through.
Well, obviously, like the rest of the world, costs are going up, cost of living is going up, and what people earn isn't going up necessarily the same rate. Our prices go up incrementally, business rates go up, the rent goes up, and yet ultimately what people have in their pocket isn't going up.
We asked Tom what the James Fig philosophy is to attract customers during these difficult times.
It all starts with the welcome. People walk through the door, there's got to be a big hello and a smile. People work hard for their money, people develop confidence in the business, confidence in the offer, in the food, in the drink, in the service, and they come back more and more. Word of mouth spreads, we get busier.
With alcohol at supermarkets being vastly cheaper, pubs have to offer more to be successful. Focus on a higher standard of food, function rooms for hire, beer gardens, live sport. While pub closures are rife, the ones that are left are of a better quality.
So, many pubs have taken their last orders, whilst others have trouble brewing. But as you can see here, the British pub is still going strong. This is Joe Phippen, reporting for BrookesTV.
Now, we've all seen the tower in Wheatley looming over the landscape. As infamous as it is ugly, it sat empty in the middle of campus since 2007, but nobody seems to know why.
Well, BrookesTV got a hold of the keys for an exclusive look inside the mysterious building. Our Sam Gilling held his breath and had a look around.
Built in the 60s, Wheelie Tower has dominated the local skyline for nigh on 50 years. Cutting edge at its time in the peak of the brutalist architecture movement, these days it is an outdated, unutilised and ugly building. It can hardly be described as an inspirational site for students and staff, and is a real blot in the landscape for residents of the village. Formerly a residence hall, but empty since 2007, its only real use these days is as a telecoms mast, being the highest point for miles around. Even in moments of natural beauty, it's lurking in the background, and when the sun comes out, well, it's there. Everyone knows what it looks like on the outside, it's hard to miss, but the question forever on the lips of staff and students alike is what's inside. Peeking through windows offers a few hints, but with the entrances locked off, it's always been a mystery. Until now. The first thing that hits you is the flies. From the second floor to the 20th, alive and dead, they're everywhere. There are some signs of former student life: old clothes, personal door signs. The kitchen even has your standard bit of graffiti, and the remains of a dead bird in the corner. So what does the future hold for the tower? It's obviously not in the university's plans. In their master plan for the campus, like most of the existing buildings, it's been knocked down and replaced. However, it's not as simple as that. With the university's bank account taking a significant hit from the development of the John Henry Brookes building, and no guarantee they'd be able to get planning permission for a similar project in Wheatley, for the time being, at least, the building's going nowhere. With different forms of asbestos being both in and on the walls, the building has safety issues at its core. So, redevelopment is out of the question. It's just uneconomic. The cost of removing all the asbestos, exterminating the wildlife, and fixing the general state of disrepair the building is in, along with an outdated heating system and rewiring of the electronics needed, the problems don't stop adding up, and the university just doesn't think it's worth it. It's a shame, with the university recently taking extra care to make sure teaching space is being used as efficiently as possible, that their largest asset sits derelict. Whichever way you look at it, the light on Wheelie Tower is fading. Sam Gilling, BrookesTV.
It's really hard to believe that building is still standing. It's pretty disgusting from the outside, but as you can see from the inside, it's really atrocious.
Yeah. And now for something more appetizing. Food is a large part of every student's life. Being away from home for the first time and being in charge of your own diet can have disastrous consequences.
So, what options are the university offering students? We sent Ben Lindsay Bloom to find out what's going on with food at Brookes.
Food at university is something we all have an opinion about. We asked some students and staff what they thought about the quality, variety and the price of food at Oxford Brookes.
Well, what I've always appreciated at Brookes was that you could be certain about a certain level of quality of food. It could vary day to day maybe, but I wasn't that demanding. For me it was absolutely okay. Yeah.
I go to the shop every now and again and buy like a sandwich or something.
And what do you think of the prices of that?
It's quite expensive. Yeah, no, I could be doing with a bit cheaper, but yeah.
I think the quality of the food here is quite good actually. Portion sizes are good. I think it's a little bit on the expensive side for me, so I wouldn't eat here for lunch probably more than once a week, I would say.
Everyone we spoke to seemed happy about the quality and variety here, but there appears to be a common concern about the price of the food. Many seem to think they can get their lunch cheaper at the Grab and Go on Wheatley campus. The Grab and Go seems to be quite popular, as it had to move in 2011 to cope with the growing demand. Recently, the catering organisation at Brookes have been collaborating with the student union more and more. We spoke to the organiser, Amy Garrett, to better understand her role at the university and to bring forward the opinions that we've heard.
A lot of the job is around kind of student engagement, so it's added value for money, so it's not just about providing food and things to eat and things to drink, it's about what other activities we can do to help students learn to eat more healthily. We use a lot of local suppliers, make food more fun and more interesting. So what we try and spend a lot of time doing is talking to students, having focus groups, getting feedback from you on what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see. And the food offer is always evolving and changing. So we see things on the high street or new trends, and we try and get you guys involved in trying those out, see if they'd work, see if you'd like to buy it. And obviously trying to create a price point that suits everybody so that you can afford to eat nice food.
It's not perfect, but things are sounding positive here. This is Ben Lindsay Bloom for BrookesTV News.
Over the next 2 weeks, some art lovers will have the chance to enjoy an intriguing auditory experience in the Abercrombie building.
The exhibition at the Glass Tank is part of a bigger annual event called Audiographed. BrookesTV went down to have a look at what was going on.
Audiographed is an annual festival of sound art and contemporary experimental music, and is presented in collaboration with the Sonic Art Research Unit at Brookes. With numerous installations and performances at various venues across Oxford, this year the festival returns on the 12th of March. Although most of the events are taking place in town, the glass tank will become home to a few new pieces. We spoke to Paul Whitty a few days before the opening to find out more about the installations at this year's exhibition at the Abercrombie.
There are 3 installations at the glass tank this year. There's one by Gordon Monaghan, who's a Canadian sound artist. There's an installation by Christina Kubish, and her installation is an electrical walk, which involves participants putting on specially designed headphones, walking around the buildings in that part of the university and listening to the hidden electronic sounds of those buildings.
Audiographed is known for showcasing work by some of Europe's leading contemporary performers and sound artists. This is the second year the research unit has hosted an exhibition at Brookes with the aim to engage a wider audience, including students.
I think Brookes students will enjoy the exhibition if they've got a spirit of adventure, if they're interested in new sounds, new ways of making sound, or new ways of listening, or opening their ears to what's already there. They'll certainly enjoy it.
While exploring Gordon Monaghan's large vinyl in acoustic space and Christina Kubish's electrical walks, the attendees had a chance to listen to unique sounds and chat with others about their opinion on the event.
I think it's a really good presentation of sound art at Oxford Brookes University, featuring some really good sound artists.
Audiograph is an amazing experience. You can actually hear everything that you know where, but you feel all the time around you. It's a great experience.
I think Autographed is a great opportunity to get involved with sound, get to know Christina Kubich's work.
So if you've got the willingness to listen to something out of the ordinary, here's your chance. With the exhibition at the Glass Tank open until the 23rd of March, this month is certainly looking like an amazing time for new music. Milvan Incharova, reporting for BTV News.
That's it for this half, but after the break, we have an interview with Chris Williams, Communications Manager at Oxford United, talking to us about life behind the scenes at a professional football club.
Also, still to come,
we head to the Museum of Natural History to check out a new skeleton.
and we went to the Athletics Championship at Oxford University Sports Centre.
Welcome back. I'm joined here by Chris Williams, Communications Manager at Oxford United. Hello, Chris.
How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. So, Chris, tell us a bit more about your role at the club.
So, Communications Manager means I look after the club's PR, the media, the website, the YouTube, social media, our Yellow Player subscription service. Generally, any job that needs doing, I'm the man for it.
We know you've been a part of the club for many years now. How has your career progressed through the club?
It's got more complicated over the years. When I was first interviewed, it was very straightforward to do the website, do the match programme, work with the Oxford Mail, BBC Oxford and the national press. But over the last sort of 10 years, things like Facebook, Twitter, social media, Instagram have popped up. And you have to keep evolving and finding new ways to get the good things that the club does out to the public.
Yeah, of course. Is it true you turned down the chance to take up a role at Arsenal Football Club?
Urban myth. No, not Arsenal. Over the years, probably 9 or 10 clubs have come in and said, "Well, you're doing a good job at Oxford. Would you like to come and work with us?" But they're not my club. I've been an Oxford fan since I was 4. So, and I'm 22-ish now. Don't laugh down the camera. They're not my club, so I'm not sure I want to go to another club. But 3 years ago, I'd set up my own business, and now I've got the best of both worlds. So I help out 5 other clubs as well. So it's Oxford United plus 5 assorted clubs dotted through the various leagues.
Oh, wow, that's impressive. Oxford United are fighting hard for promotion from League 2 at the moment. What would achieving promotion to League 1 mean for the club and the fans?
Everything. As you say, I've been there. We haven't been out of League 2 this century other than downwards to come back up. Getting promotion means everything. The whole club is geared to going up. The fans kind of demand success to go up this year. We're in a fantastic place still. We're 6th in the table. There are 9 games left, so it's doable. Going upward, everything is geared there. The whole stadium, the setup, the women's game, the youth team, the development squad is all ready for us to make that step and go up. So it would mean everything to everybody at the club.
Yeah. There's a common idea that attendance is being affected by prices increasing for football matches. What are Oxford United trying to do to bring in more of a crowd?
Yeah, football's expensive, isn't it? It's not just the football though, is it? You go and you have a beer and something to eat and you've got your transport, so it's an expensive day. We appreciate that. Our community department work extremely hard with all the local schools, the primary schools, secondary schools, trying to get people to come along. Tickets for kids are really, really cheap anyway. I was at the Football League Awards on Sunday up in London, where we were nominated for the 4th year in a row for the Family Club of the Year, which is another way of us saying, once you get hooked as a kid, you want to keep coming back, don't you? So the plan is bring people in that way. We're also doing a military day in a few games' time where military personnel can come buy one, get one free. So try and get out and approach the right groups. People who work for BMW in Oxford, for example, they have a special price.
Thank you so much for joining us, Chris. Museums around the world are filled with all kinds of animal species and skeletal displays. The Museum of Natural History in Oxford showed visitors a behind-the-scenes construction of the latest rodent they've included this year. Jimmy Lamb has this to report.
The Oxfordshire Science Festival will be taking place around various venues. The Museum of Natural History will host different events for the general public. The museum has an extensive amount of skeletons on display, but there is one particular mammal that still hasn't been added, the capybara. We've joined Ben Garrett, an evolutionary biologist who is here to reconstruct the skeleton with Bethany Palumbo. Visitors will have the chance to ask them questions about what they have planned and about the animal itself.
Well, I've been invited here today by friends and colleagues to help with a demonstration for skeletons. So every museum has a whole range of skeletons that they've had for 100 years, 200 years, and it's one of these things that people don't know how they were done, what techniques were used. So we're here today to try and show the public how skeletons are put together. Capybara are the largest rodents on Earth. They're found right across South America. They live in large groups of up to 100, but usually between 20 and 30. Their scientific name actually translates as water pig, and very early explorers thought they looked like pigs that lived in the water, so there's been this miscommunication for quite a long time.
This would be the first skeletal form of the capybara at the museum. However, is this the first time they assembled it?
Personally, yes. I don't know if it's the first one that Ben's assembled, but I've worked on much smaller specimens than this. We also re-articulated the whales, which are hung above us. So really big and really small, but nothing of this size and this complexity.
This is the first capybara I've ever assembled, yes. The cool thing is, once you've worked with skeletons for a long time, you kind of understand where certain things go. So for example, this is always the femur in every animal because it's got this little notch here, the ball and socket, which always fits into the pelvis. So you kind of get an idea of what you're working with, although there are often unique adaptations for each animal.
Keen visitors will be able to learn about the animal and the methods used for the construction. They even told us what they have learned.
I learned how its jaw moves backwards and forwards, and how the ball and the socket fit together and how they move.
I think they had to boil it and strip all the fat and the muscle off, and then the bones have been boiled and bleached, as you can see.
They use a specific type of glue which comes in pellets, which you can dissolve with various solvents to help you put it together.
They're going to have to rebuild the spine slightly because they've got the processes in the wrong place. So I had a really good look at that, and I could see where they needed to change them too. So yeah, I have learned. It's interesting.
With a lot of people very interested in the construction and already halfway into the afternoon, will they be able to finish the skeleton today?
I don't know if we'll finish before 5 o'clock, but I'm hoping we might.
I hope so. I really hope so. There are a few bits that we'll need to do next week or the week after maybe.
Unfortunately, we're not able to stick around to see if the skeleton is completed, but we're sure it'll make a great addition to the museum with many more questions to be asked. Jimmy Lamb, BrookesTV.
From a tragedy last year to a comedy this year, the Brookes Opera Society presents its second show, The Pirates of Penzance, between the 13th and the 15th of March. Our reporter, Mishu Aga, went to dress rehearsal to see the preparations.
After months of planning and preparation, the Brookes Opera Society's second official production, The Pirates of Penzance, is finally being showcased. Today I'm here to follow their dress rehearsal.
It's Pirates of Penzance, which is quite a famous Gilbert and Sullivan operetta. It's about this group of pirates who are bad at being pirates, basically, and they sort of
one of them becomes like, he gets taken to be a pirate until he's 21, and when he turns 21 he can stop being a pirate. So he stops being a pirate, falls in love with someone, and sort of just goes from there, like a story of sort of, it's just silliness basically. It's basically like a pantomime but with music in the background, so it's a lot of fun.
So we started rehearsals in September, but we've kind of been planning it for the last year really. So basically this time last year I started thinking about it and started rehearsing end of September, basically October. So yeah, they're ready. Yeah, well, we've been rehearsing for so long, they kind of know it inside out, so hopefully it'll all go to plan.
The whole opera is set in the 19th century, and so what we've tried to do is capture some of the costumes in that century without spending a ridiculous amount of money on like floor length sort of corseted gowns basically. So we've tried to capture the era without, you know, fully costuming everyone.
It's so funny.
Yeah, it's quite funny. I mean, the plot's not very complicated, but I mean, it's
just so hilarious. There's another way to explain it.
It's sort of the cross between full-on opera and musical theatre.
Yeah.
Thing. So it's quite a light opera to start off with.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Wishing the cast all the best. Nishu Ara, BrookesTV.
Oxford University Sports Centre once again hosted the British University College Sports, or BUCS as is commonly known. This featured the Modern Biathlon and Pentathlon Championship that took place in Oxford on the 14th and 15th of March. Our reporter, Majda Al-Muscati, went down to Wheatley Road to have a look.
The annual BUCS Modern Biathlon and Pentathlon Championship took place this weekend, with competitors arriving from all around the UK to compete in the event that is proudly hosted by Oxford University Sports Centre. Luckily, BrookesTV was there to witness the games and managed to capture footage of the biathlon, which consisted of both running and swimming competitions.
It's been a really good day. We've had a record number of athletes. I think we've got 224 competing today, so it's been really busy, but I think a great day. The sun's been out, it's gone really well.
With a record number of universities being represented this year, with students travelling as far as Aberdeen, Edinburgh and Bangor, it was quite an eventful 2 days. Unlike the biathlon, the pentathlon involves 3 additional sports, which are riding, fencing and shooting, which all took place earlier in the event.
Yeah, I felt good, yeah. It's a lovely day for running, so I felt pretty good.
It's been a really nice day, like really nice weather, really nice atmosphere.
It's been good fun. It's been fantastic, yeah, really good. It's been really well organised as well.
The swimming competition was also an exciting part of the evening, as it was a new sport to a lot of contenders.
Yeah, this is my first event, it's the biathlon, and I'm normally doing cross-country, so swimming is difficult for me.
The championship was well represented by several Oxford athletes from both the University of Oxford as well as Oxford Brookes. The BUCS Modern Biathlon and Pentathlon program is a championship with both male and female individual titles available, along with team championships as well. Biathlon teams consist of 3 individuals from the same university. The team score is calculated using the total of the 3 individual scores. The night ended with a quick ceremony to acknowledge all winners, including several awards to Oxford students.
From Oxford, Alex Fraser, Dan Bond and Bonnie Lee.
Thanks to all the organisers, it was a successful and well-organised event. Majda Al-Muscati reporting for BrookesTV.
God, even watching all that running has left me feeling absolutely exhausted. Well, that's it for this week's show. You can view all of our previous episodes online at our YouTube channel.
We also want to hear about what's happening near you, so if you hear anything, email your stories or questions to brookestv@brookes.ac.uk.
Thank you for watching. See you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.